Thank you all for voting. It's going to be a victory for Druid here. 4 votes to 2 votes to 2. So Druid it is. Guess people like Druids.
I must protect.
And, well, let's just take the one playable card here and not think about it too much. Yes, I know Ancient Watcher is playable, but it's not really playable. Here, between Innervate and Harvest Golem, I'm going to take the Golem. Innervate's certainly fine, but the Harvest Golem is really solid. Here I'll take Mark of Nature, because that is a pretty good buff over the trash. Smarg of the Wild. I don't want to take two remove buffs that close to each other. We'll take a Starfire here, even though that's a bit of a sketchier one. Yuck. Well, these are all okay cards. I'm going to take another 2-drop to have a good early game. And I'll take the Cleric because I like buffs. Yeti is a spectacular card. Pretty easy picks so far here. Farseer is definitely good, but I'm going to take the Claw for some early removal. And although the Kodo can be good, I'm not going to pass on a Nourish. I just like having that card draw there. Okay, normally I don't take Soul of the Forest, but with this trash here, I will take it. Oh gosh. Do I take an Innervate now? I don't think that the deck was really justified in playing Innervate at the moment, although it is good with Auctioneer. Okay, we'll try an Innervate here over a Loot Hoarder. Legendary! Hey, that's awesome. So, I don't think you really want to play Millhouse Mana Storm like ever. Leroy's a good finisher, but I'm actually going to take Cenarius. It's very, very end-gamey, but it's just such a big body it can dominate the end. Alright, the Scully Crusader's fine, but I'm going to take the Wolf here, because I like having buffs. Wild Growth is a card I used to be more of a fan of than I am now. I guess I will take it over Cult Master and Mark of Nature, though. Cult Master's not super great if you're going to be endgame focused. Ugh. Well, I guess we're taking a Stormwind Champion here. And, oh my god, I guess we'll take a Vengeful Mercenary. Well, we are getting good 4-drops at least. That's nice. We'll take 1 Silence. Here's where I'll take a Kodo. Well, the Savagery could work with Claw, but at the moment there's not much support for that. Savagery. Do I play the Panda? There's really... this works. This works. This unlikely. There's really not much to use this Panda on. I guess I'll take another Mark of Nature. Ah, Swipe. I was just about to wonder when you were going to show up. Okay, this is a 5-drop, and it's certainly a fine one, but I want to have some early plays, so even though this is not the greatest 2-drop in the current metagame, I will take it. I'll take this nice 4-drop. Starfall, I think it's important to have to get rid of dangerous threats by the opponent. I don't want a second Starfire, though. That's getting a bit expensive, so we'll just take a generic 2-drop. And a Stormwind Knight. Oh, God, this Cult Master just keeps on coming. You know, we need some 3-drops. I only still have the Golem and the Cleric. Yeah, so we'll take a Grizzly. Force of Nature could be good, but I don't think this is going to be a super aggressive deck, so we'll take the Ancient of Lore. The healing or the card drawing could be important. And similarly, I don't think Ravenhold Assassin really fits into this slow deck, so we'll take a Silence/removal there. Pablo Gonzalez says that Crip once did a draft where he always picked the horrible cards over the good ones. You should do one. And then Hamilene adds, and he had 9 wins. I did once see Trump do an all-right card draft. It ended up being Mage, and he went 8 wins with it. But what I would say, though, is that, like, that's... Even if you do that, I mean, it's fun, and you might do really well, and it's really exciting if you do, but of course you're going to do better if you're actually picking your cards. Like, you can get lucky and get good cards, or you can get lucky and, like, you know, just play really well and your opponents suck. But, I don't know, that's something I could do, like, for fun at some point, but I wouldn't put too much stock on in the results of those drafts. Alright, well, here we actually get a pretty crappy hand to start with, but the Innervate makes it a lot better, because now on turn 2 I can play Innervate Yeti. The problem is that my opponent is second, because actually, this is like, I think, the 4th rogue in a row that I'm going first against, so, you know, story of my life. Would I play a Yeti if she has a Defias Ringleader? Probably. Although I wouldn't be that happy about it. Earlier in the chat, I missed a few things. Reggie said, you know what I'd love to see? Boris playing WoW. I'd love to get some strat from Boris on that. It'd be awesome. I don't know. I think like starting WoW now just seems kind of silly. I'd rather like wait for Elder Scrolls Online or something. Coin into the dagger. Well, all right. We are playing against a special opponent indeed here, folks. That is good to know. Yeah. You don't ever want to coin dagger. I don't think. Would you ever coin dagger? No, you would never coin dagger, because even if you have deadly poison, you can just dagger on turn 2 and then coin deadly poison. So don't ever coin daggers, kids. Wow. That's pretty spectacular. All right, so this should be good for at least 2 cards on her part, which is fine because I spent 2 cards playing it. She's got to do... What the... Did anyone see, was this just top decked, or did she have that already? That is the only thing that I want to know. That is the only thing that I want to know right now about the universe. I don't want to know like how the universe was created. I don't want to know if there's a god. I just want to know, did my opponent have the Defias Ringleader in her hand, or did she just top deck it? Because if she had it in her hand on turn 1 and coined a dagger instead of that, then that's just, pretty special and hilarious in many ways. Hey, Malene says, I gotta go, but I will leave my Twitch on. See you later, hopefully, Boris. Take care, hey, Malene. Thank you, as always, for coming by. It's been a pleasure having you. Here, I could trade the Yeti for the Worgen, but what I'd actually rather do is this. Because I feel like... Oh, and I messed up. Sorry, folks. I should have attacked with the Yeti first. That would have dealt an extra point of damage that way. So I threw away a point of damage for no reason. But anyway, I feel like the Yeti is actually more valuable than the Wolf here. And then we get to play a Ventrico Mercenary next turn. Pablo Gonzalez says, yeah, ESO is awesome. Yeah, I actually haven't been following that. I don't know, is it in like open beta now? Is it still closed beta? Is it only like press access? I do want to try it. I've been a big fan of all the Elder Scrolls games. Like a lot of folks, I'm kind of skeptical how good it's going to be as an MMO. Because I think part of what made those games so good is the fact that they were like devotedly single-player affairs. Stampeding Coda whiffs hard. So I can either use the Guardian and Shapeshift to kill it, but then I'm not playing anything else, or I can throw the Yeti away. Or I could just hit her in the face, I guess. All fair options. I don't really see the point of playing this because I don't have any spells. So yeah, I guess we're just going to go ahead and trade that in, swing, and play the Ventrico Mercenary. So the risk of this move is that I can't play any of my minions now, but it seems pretty likely that if she has an Assassinate, she'll use it on this. So, and if she doesn't, I can race her. I should be able to race her out faster. Reggie says that Elder Scrolls Online looks very cool. It does look right. It looks like how I'd expect one of those games to look, which is a good, I suppose. But like some of the fun of those games is like breaking into houses and stealing all the stuff, or like becoming totally game-breakingly overpowered, and they probably wouldn't allow that to happen in the online game. So I'm just curious to see how they handle it. Okay, so here I cannot play any of my minions at the moment. I'll probably be shapeshifting this turn and doing nothing else. No, I can actually play that. Is that better than shapeshifting to kill something off? I think so. I think so. So we're going to use this guy as a kind of cleanup. But I am going to start hitting with the Ventrico Mercenary because it hits pretty hard, and if you play that, you really should be prepared to race. Oh, Elder Scrolls Online is $15 a month, huh? I don't know. I'd have to... There he says, I can't believe MMO subscription costs are still a thing. Yeah, I actually didn't know that. It was $15 a month. For some reason, I thought it would be like a one-time purchase. That's interesting. I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see how things go when I go part-time and how much time I really have to do what I want to do. So now the Kodo actually has a target. I would like for it to hit the Tauren Warrior, of course, but it might hit the Loot Hoarder instead. Actually, I can't even play it anyway, so really sort of a moot point, isn't it? Never mind. Alright, she's going for the face, and she's going for the face again. I think that's a mistake. It's definitely a mistake. She should have really killed this 1-1 so that he couldn't kill the Loot Hoarder. Alright. Damaged, or Harvest Golem, it's fine. Just kill that thing. We'll kill the loot hoarder off. So yeah, this rogue started things off by coining into a dagger on turn 1, so definitely a special player, and it kind of shows she's not playing exactly precisely here against my Ventricle Mercenary. I could afford a monthly fee. I mean, I have enough money saved up from my day job that I could do that, so that wouldn't necessarily put me off from playing Elder Scrolls, but it'd be nice if it didn't have one, or like the game needs to be really amazing to justify it. So this Booty Bay Bodyguard is about as good as that gets. It pointily kills my Ventricle Mercenary, but it's just strong enough to stop my Golem from killing it. This is fine though, so now I will just go ahead and trade out my Ventricle Mercenary. And at this point I can play the Ancient of Lore for 2 cards. Don't think I need the health. Cenarius is pretty sweet here. Wow, that could be really good. We'll see. Reggie says that, well, I have been paying $15 for WoW a month. However, WoW has been on for me for 6 years, so I'm kind of hooked on there. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a little bit easier when you're already hooked to keep paying it than to start paying anew. I never actually got into WoW at all. I never played WoW. I tried EverQuest 2, like, way back in the day, and it didn't grab me. And then maybe WoW was better, but I just felt like it was a very grindy experience, and I don't really like grinding. I like where you play and like how good you are determines how well you're able to perform, not like just your willingness to stick through it and grind indefinitely. Okay, swipe seems pretty solid here. Let's go ahead and do the auctioneer. Swipe. Get a card. I will cash out my golem. Let's win for 5 damage. Couldn't have won there. I could have dealt 7, 11 damage. Not quite enough to kill my opponent. Betrayal. Oh my god, I did not play around Betrayal. I just actually completely forgot about Betrayal. I should have put the damaged golem in the middle. Yeah, then I would have been in much better shape. That's for sure. And she has 7 mana to work with. Luckily, I have pretty huge card advantage, so I should still be fine. And luckily, she's been playing badly and with bad cards. So this is all looking pretty good. Assassin's Blade, okay. Guess the ooze is dropping down. Things are looking fine. Can I actually win? I should check for the win, shouldn't I? Because I could deal +2/+2, so that would be 7 damage. Ah, I can't quite win. Okay. So the Kodo's pretty easy because it kills off the Berserker, the ooze. Let me actually play around Betrayal. That'll kill off the Assassin's Blade. Swing with the Kodo. Let's play a Grizzly, Foshizzly. Just in case she has any kind of killer combo with 2 cards. And that's that. Okay. So, that was a good game. The rogue didn't play very well, so I really have no idea how good this deck is, because that rogue played awfully, which is totally fine. Just a new player playing badly, totally fine. Nothing wrong with that, no shame. Just doesn't really give us any kind of a measure as to how good the deck is. And apparently I have a deck for Druid dominance, or as I like to call it, natural dominance. Oldest pawn in Papa Boris's repertoire. So that would be quite the coup here if I had the Shaman 5-win quest, and then now the Druid 5-win quest. That is officially the objective of this arena run. One MMO that really disappointed me recently, speaking of MMOs, is Neverwinter Nights. I have been waiting for years for somebody to make a computer game based on 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Because 4th edition D&D is like turn-based, there's a lot of variety, it's really fun, it's got a super deep and interesting character building system. Do I keep the Innervate and the Venture Code to play that on turn 3? No, I'm not going to do that. But the only games that were based on 4th edition were like this terrible Facebook game, which was just like horrifically bad, and then Neverwinter Nights, or sorry, not Neverwinter Nights, Neverwinter, excuse me, which was also really, really bad, I thought. It was like super grindy and not very interesting, and it had like an action element, which was kind of cool, I guess, but it didn't really hook me. It was also one of those free-to-play games that like keeps banging you over the head if you're not paying money, to try to get you to pay money. Okay, my opponent sadly does not have a super slow start. He has the coin for a Blade Master. You know, I never saw any Wraths in this draft, but if I can top like a Claw, that'll take care of this. Okay, I hate doing this, but it's what you have to do sometimes. Shatterstone Cleric will trade with this injured Blade Master, and that's better than doing nothing. Pablo Gonzalez asks, how long will you stream? It's a good question. I'll stream until... That's actually a really good question. I'm not sure, to be honest. I do need to leave the house. I do need to, like... Okay, my hardest cap, I guess, is like 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I could play Auctioneer and then hope to Mark of Nature at the following turn. Or I could just Mark of Nature the Shatterstone Cleric and then kill the Blade Master. Alright, we'll go a little bit risky here. I'll play the Auctioneer. We'll just do this trade here. So yeah, that's a good question. How long will I stream? So Hearthstone time, it's nearing on 2 p.m. I really should leave by 4 p.m. So we'll see how long this arena run takes before making a call as to whether I'll do one more. But this might be the last one if it goes a long time. There was like a golden age of D&D games, like Baldur's Gate. That series was great, and Planescape Torment was really awesome. But then like BioWare stopped. They kind of moved on, which is totally fine. I'm glad that they found other things that they were interested in doing. But it's annoying to me that like D&D 4th edition is just so perfect for computer games, and like the golden age of D&D based games had passed and nobody was doing it anymore for like stupid legal licensing reasons. It would be so much fun to have a game that was like turn-based, grid-based, with like all these character options and feats and different classes and races and stuff. But no one's done it. No one has done it. If I knew how to, that's like my one dream in life. Like if I knew how to make video games, I would make the greatest 4th edition based computer game, and it would be awesome. But alas, it is not to be. So a Fen Creeper drops down, as I proceed to not talk about the game at all. We could Mark of Nature and then run both my guys into it, or I could Starfire and run that into it as well. Let's actually go for the Mark of Nature. Otherwise, there's a risk that it won't ever be useful. So we draw a card, and then run in. So I plan to unleash the hounds here by dropping the ooze. God, fucking unleash the hounds. Okay, I'm not gonna play the Crocalist, I guess, just in case of unleash the hounds. There you says, on that note, remove the voting text. Lol, thanks. It's gone. Reggie has a personal question for me. He says, Boris, personal question. Does your new lady friend play Hearthstone, and or does she know? Funny you should ask. She actually did try Hearthstone. As my opponent plays the Buzzard...
That didn't quite hit the mark.
Sorry. I'll be... wow. That was one of the that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. Yes, my new girlfriend does in fact play Hearthstone. She tried it out, and she said she actually has a pretty good head for the game. She said that you know, she played a mage a lot, and she said that it got kind of boring because like basically all you do is you just hoard up your cards until you can kill everything with a flame strike. And then she said she always won, but she said that she only won as long as she played people who were worse than she was. And she actually wants to do a dual commentary thing with me, so that is something that we may see actually at some point on the channel. Where I give my girlfriend a pseudonym because she doesn't want her real name to be known, and we play Hearthstone together. I don't know exactly what the format of that would be. Maybe it would be something like, you know, she plays and I coach her, or like I play and she like offers commentary or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what the format would be, but it'd be pretty cool, I think, to do. Pablo Gonzalez says, "OMG, your girlfriend plays Hearthstone. She's a keeper. She doesn't play that much. I should clarify. Like, it's not like she like comes home from work and like gets on and plays Hearthstone. But she's actually like played the game and put in some time. And I didn't even like ask her to do it. Like, I told her that I played, and that I had a channel based on it. And then one of her friends told her that it was a good game, and so she tried it just like on her own initiative. So she's pretty awesome. And yes, she is a keeper, although not just because of her playing Hearthstone. I should clarify. Now let's actually talk a little bit about the game here. So there was a trap that we know, I believe, was not freezing trap or snake trap, but I haven't attacked him yet, so it could still be an explosive trap. So I kind of want to play Soul of the Forest because that I just top decked because that would allow my stuff to come back. Although, well, I do have to get through this wolf here, don't I? Okay, let's actually, this is a pretty complicated situation because I have so many cards. Let's play a Harvest Golem and Soul of the Forest. And then I'll do that. Oh, so he put down a freezing trap. I see. Oops. Well, okay. So that's fine. So we'll do that. Shapeshift. And I guess I'll run into this explosive trap. So it'll kill one of my trees. I probably did not do that the best way, did I? I really probably didn't. I think, though, that just because I have a bajillion cards to his 4, I should still win this game. I don't see him, like, racing me down anytime soon. But that was not the perfect play there. Reggie says, by the way, Shu, most likely will steal your fans since women is greater than men. True story. Well, here's what I think about that, actually. First of all, we'll be doing it on my channel. She's not gonna, I don't think she's gonna do like her own channel or anything, so that shouldn't really be an issue for her stealing my fans. But the other thing is that, I feel that it's not exactly true about the whole like women being greater than men thing, simply because, who do I put this on? Let's put it on one of these trees. Simply because if you look at like who all the top streamers are, it actually is all men. Like, who are the top Hearthstone streamers, It's like Crip and Trump and Ecop and Ribbo, and like who are all of the top like YouTubers. It's like Husky and Force and Northern Lion. Like, there's really not that many women in the scene. Hafu is being pretty much for Hearthstone being pretty much like the one exception. And I think that kind of disproves the theory that like women are, greater than men, or like more men will, or like women will get watched more than men will. Because if that were the case, like there's lots of like attractive women who, love to play video games, and if it really were just as easy as like being a woman and making a channel and playing it, then there would be a lot more women doing that and a lot more women being at the top. I think actually the whole like video game YouTube industry is pretty difficult for women to break into because you have to deal with a lot of like emotional stress. Reggie clarifies he had to say that part because his wife is sitting next to him. I see that. That makes sense. But to be serious, if you think about it, like I'm a dude and I post, videos on YouTube for Hearthstone, okay? And like what happens? Some people like them and they tell me they like them, and other people don't like them and they tell me they don't like them, and other people don't like them and just don't watch them. But like I just put my videos up and like people will talk about my videos, and that's about it. That's all I have to deal with as far as like my fans are concerned. But if I were a woman putting up all the exact same videos and saying all the exact same things, like it would be extremely different. There'd be people who are like, "Oh my God, you're hot," or like if I wasn't hot, like, "Oh my God, you're kind of ugly. I don't ever want to bang you," and like, "Oh man, you should show us your tits on the stream at some point," and like, "Hey, you're really cute. Like I want to marry you," and like all sorts of creepy crap. And I feel like that really drains on you after a while, that you have to deal with all this stuff about like people making comments about your gender where it's not really relevant, and all you're trying to do is just like make some Hearthstone videos. So I think that kind of thing actually really inhibits women's entry into this field, this streaming and gaming field, and is kind of unfortunate because there's probably some really great women out there who would make really great content if men weren't such sexist douchebags. So I'll play a Murloc Tidehunter. It is a bit of a risk. Unleash the Hounds now will kill both of these, but I would rather get Unleash the Hounds out right now than later with a Buzzard, so I just want to play this here. Okay, well, this is fine, I think. I could just throw these into that and then play a Crocolisk, but I might as well Shapeshift to try to go for a little bit of card advantage here. So I have a 1-1 on the board instead of a 2-3, but I can play the 2-3 next turn, so I should be okay. So there's a few things that people have missed from earlier up in the chat. Reggie said, how do you go about getting around her yelling at you about playing too many video games? Well, the key is, you know, that you want to... I feel like the stereotype about, like, you know, women yelling about you playing too much video games, I mean, that is a stereotype. And not that it doesn't have some basis in truth, but I feel like that's not, by any stretch of the imagination, all women. I mean... I'm dating someone who understands that this is like a passion of mine and a hobby. It's no different than like being passionate about knitting or dancing or watching football or whatever other passions and hobbies that people have. And because of that, she's fine with it. I mean, the time I spend doing this is no different in her eyes, or in mine for that matter, than any time that someone else might spend doing any other hobby or passion. The key for everyone is date nerds, because nerds are awesome. See, nerds are rational, and they don't have, like, you know, stupid opinions about how, like, video games are for kids or any of that crap. Nerds understand what things are really like. Right, this is actually an incredibly good card, a 4/6, very difficult for me to deal with. I could play Mark of Nature, but then I don't really have the ability to do anything else. I could throw these into it, and then I'm, like, 2-for-1-ing myself. I could Starfall it, but that's actually not quite enough damage. So I could 2-for-1 myself against this in a variety of ways, but nothing is really great for dealing with that thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is ignore it. I'm just going to swing by, get my best creature on the field, and then we'll see what happens from there. Mr. Popo says, funny thing, I'm still sitting in the plane, it's yet to take off, kill me. Oh god, Mr. Popo, I'm sorry. I had the same experience recently. It's extremely frustrating. Look at it this way. You get to sit in a giant metal box that flies through the air, and you can cover in a few hours what people used to have to, like, cover in, like, a months-long journey. So that's cool, right? Therio says, shoutouts to my girlfriend, the only person in this country who was willing to co-op Trauma Center New Blood with me. Wow. She definitely deserves every bit of that shout out. Alright, we're going to go ahead and silence this Sunwalker. I feel like that's a pretty good use of that dude. We'll kill that thing. We'll shapeshift. Sadly, I can't actually kill the Sunwalker. Playing fast and loose here, all it takes is one good removal spell, and I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Pablo Gonzalez asks, how many wins did you get in your first ever Hearthstone run? That's a really great question. Actually, my first ever Hearthstone run was with Druid, and I got 9 wins. That was back when that was back when the 9 wins was the cap, of course. And I was like, oh my god, I'm the best Hearthstone player ever. I am going to, you know, rock this game inside out. And of course, you know, luck and skill caught up with me in the end, but it was a pretty encouraging beginning. My second ever Hearthstone run, I also played Druid, and I also got 9 wins. But yeah, eventually, you know, things kind of balanced out. Kill command, okay. So in this game, I think I'm actually doing pretty well, all things considered. I could play Stormwind Champion, or I could play Mark of Nature. Starfall doesn't seem that great because these are at 3 health. Although I could run in there, Starfall, Shapeshift, finish everything off. Nah, let's just play Stormwind Champion. It's a bit risky here, surely, leaving the Sunwalker alive, but he hasn't had the removal all game, so I feel like I should be able to hold it out. Thereyu says, seriously though, just try to involve your loved one in the games you play and see if they like it. A lot of people I know didn't like video games just because they didn't really understand how it could be fun until they tried it themselves. That's totally true. And I mean, there's no guarantee that that will work, but it's worth trying, because at the end of the day, you know, video gaming is a thing that you do, and people might enjoy it just like they might enjoy anything. Okay. Is this the time to Starfire? I think so. Let's go ahead and get rid of that Yeti. Iron for Grizzly. So I have an Innervate here. Awkwardly, I have nothing that uses 4 mana, so Innervate's just like an expensive coin. But I will actually Innervate, and I will do a Mark of Nature to try to preserve the life of this guy a little bit. Reggie asks, "Hey Boris, when are you going to do the Q&A?" That is on my to-do list. That will be either tomorrow or Monday. I haven't had time to do anything in the past couple of weeks, but that I promise I have. That has been in my memory and in my consciousness since I posted that video. Young Priestess. All right. So I could Starfall and Shapeshift to clear out his board. My health total is so high, I feel like I don't even really need to do that. Let's just, play stuff. Kill the Young Priestess. I think, speaking of getting people involved in hobbies, what I've learned from board games, which is actually something I've tried to get people into much more than I have tried video games, is there are some people who board game is just not their hobby. Like my last girlfriend, like she definitely tried, like I tried to, teach her how to play the games. We played with my friends. And it's just not her thing. And so I eventually like I gave up right around the time when she was like, Boris, I'm just not a board gamer. Like I'm done with this. And it was totally fine. Like not everyone is going to like everything, and that is okay. But it is worth trying, and it's worth, like, when you try to introduce people to stuff, just to present it as like, hey, like, let's just do this fun thing, and not make a big deal about it. That's another thing that, if I can get on my soapbox for just a moment, it really kind of annoys me about the male gamer community, is that when there is a girl who plays games, guys are like, oh my god, you're a girl who plays games. But like that's so dumb. Like, think about it like from the opposite perspective. What if like you like went to a board game club and someone was like, "Oh my god, you're a dude and you play games?" That would be so annoying. But we do it, to women all the time. If a girl who plays games, that's great. Just play games with her and have fun. You don't need to make a big deal about the fact that she has like ovaries and boobs. It's not really like the right context to bring up that fact. Theory says, "Man, I'd love to play some more board games." It's interesting. I used to feel like it was really hard to find people who play board games, but it seems to have gotten easier over time. Like I have like more people who will play like awesome board games like Terra Mystica and Puerto Rico and Agricola and all those like really great games with me than like I can fit into a single gaming session at one time. So it is a little bit tricky maybe to find the people at first, but board games are really picking up steam. It's much easier now than it used to be to get an audience for those games. Reggie says, "I suck so much at board games and I'm a guy." Yeah, board games, they're hard. It's, like, if I were to play football, I'd suck. I suck at dancing. I suck at art. Like, I suck at a lot of things, and board games are as difficult as anything, and it's hard to be good at them. Alright, so my opponent cleared everything out, but the good news is that he totally ran out of steam, and I didn't. So we're going to draw a card with Wild Growth. I was hoping to get Gadgetzan Auctioneer for like 2 extra cards, but can't always have what you want. I could, of course, swipe his face and kill off this Infiltrator, but I'd rather just play out my other stuff and Shapeshift a bit. Oh gosh, you guys are about to find out that I'm a board game elitist. People talking here about Monopoly. That game was good for its time, but board game science, the art of board game design, has moved on so far beyond Monopoly. Settlers of Catan, man. Settlers of Catan is where it's at. You start there, and you never look back. Let's make sure we click on the correct thing here. So glad I picked up that Nourish. That really seals the deal in this game. I would actually rather do Mark of Nature than a Shattered Sun Cleric, because just in case of Unleash the Hounds and a Buzzard combo, there's no reason to expose myself to any of that nonsense. And we're going to have Cenarius here pretty soon. Therio says, "Monopoly is complete shit. I'm sorry. Catan is awesome." So here's the thing about Monopoly. If you play Monopoly by the actual rules, it's actually not terrible, because by the correct rules of Monopoly, once one person goes bankrupt, the game ends. None of this, and there's no like money on free parking or crap. If you play with all the like house rules that have somehow made it into the game consciousness over the generations, where like there's money being injected into the game and you have to wait for one person to be left, then the game takes forever and it's actually not really worth it. So Therio says there's an easy rule: the less luck involved in a board game, the better it is. Well, here's my opinion on that. I actually think it's a bit of a tricky question, because if you take a game like chess, there's no luck. And you take a game like Go, there's no luck. And there's a lot of abstract games, like more modern games. There's like a whole series called Project GIPF, like Yinch and Zertz, all these like abstract games that are kind of nifty and wacky. But those games aren't really that popular. If you look at the games that are like really popular among board gamers, you know, you got stuff like Dominion, Settlers of Catan, Agricola, maybe some heavier games like Mage Knight. All of them have a luck component. I think that luck is important to a game, because what that does is it makes the game a little bit more varied. It's so that it's more different every time you play. And, you know, it also makes it so that the best player doesn't necessarily always win. Like, the best player should win most of the time, but if you have a game where, like, skill completely determines the outcome, then it's really hard to get new people into the game, because they're just going to get crushed the first time they play, and that's not really fun. I view it as a more complicated equation. I believe that luck needs to be inversely proportional to game length. So the shorter the game is, the more acceptable it is for the game to have a lot of luck. Conversely, the longer a game is, the less acceptable it is if luck determines the outcome. Because if you're going to be sitting there for like 5 hours playing a game, then that should be determined primarily by your skill. But if it's like a 30-minute filler, then it's okay if, you know, luck decides the outcome. So that's like why I'm okay with the fact that, you know, Dominion has a lot of luck, but I'm not okay with the fact that Munchkin does. Like, Munchkin's a piece of shit game that should never exist, because it takes like 3 hours to play and has no skill whatsoever. But Dominion takes like 30 minutes, you know, a little bit of luck involved, that's fine. My friend Jeff, who goes by the name Fronomo in the chat, says, I won my first game of Puerto Rico against Andy last night. Congratulations, Jeff. That is not an easy game to win. Puerto Rico's a good one. I haven't actually mentioned that one. Therio says, well, the thing is that luck shouldn't be the determining factor 99% of the time. Look at Texas Hold'em poker. Luck definitely has a factor, but it's definitely not the determining factor. That's true. I agree with you there. Mr. Popo says, does CK2 count as a board game? Shoot, I actually don't know what CK2 is. I'm trying to think of all the things I know that could fit the acronym CK, and I am coming up blank. Crusader Kings. Oh, I see. Well, you can get technical about it. I mean, you could say it's a board game implemented as a computer game, but you know, by that logic, Hearthstone is like a board game too. Personally, I prefer to just call that a computer game because it's on the computer, but I wouldn't like argue with anyone who chose to call it a board game. Reggie says, shoot, I gotta go. Can't wait to see this on YouTube. Good luck, Boris. Take care, Reggie. Thanks so much for coming. It's been a pleasure having you, as always. Now, I'm not tripping Leox here. Crusader Kings, that is a computer game, right? It's the one, it's like the strategy game where you have like a bloodline or whatever, and you need to do marriages and build up a dynasty, that thing. Oh my god, I missed a hilarious comment earlier in the chat. Reggie said, who plays Monopoly by the rules? That's like asking, who plays Elven Archer? That's true, that is really becoming one of my trademark questions. Who plays Elven Archer? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and Wild Growth on turn 1 with the coin. I believe you should always do that. Theory says that I believe it's another Paradox Grand strategy game. Yeah, I think so. Like Europa Universalis. And he says it'd probably be impossible to set up in real life. I agree, that would be a very, very difficult game to set up. Just like Hearthstone, you could make cards, but then there are some things like Thought Steal that you wouldn't really be able to implement effectively. Mr. Popo says, Paradox Grand Strategy is the reason I am single. That is hilarious. Oh, man. Okay, so let's think. If I play Mirror Entity, I'll have to trade them off, because I don't have any good things to bait it out with. If I attack first and then play a minion, that sucks. If I put Mark of Nature on this and it's vaporized, that sucks. Oh yeah, well, we're going to do this, I guess. So we're going to just play Fairy Dragon. And it is not Mirror Entity, alas. So we'll swing. Please be Ice Armor. Nope, it's vaporized. Well, 3 mana to kill a 3 mana creature, that's fine. We'll just play Ooze and call it a day. So I want to respond to Mr. Popo's comment. He says, Paradox grand strategy is the reason I'm single. You know, I don't think that has to be true. Like, the way that I met my girlfriend was through online dating, OkCupid. Like, you could play, and I spent, many hours playing video games. Like, you could spend a lot of time at your computer, but you got to use that time productively. Like, you got to use some time to, play video games and use, like, a little bit of time to, like, go on a dating website and message girls. Sadly, I can't put Mark of Nature on this because this can't be the target of spells, and if I play any of these minions, I'm going to be wasting them. I'm just going to waste a Kodo. I think it's better to waste the Kodo than to just shapeshift and do nothing. Pablo Gonzalez says, if you could have any accent, which one would you want? I'd want to have actually a Russian accent. Russian accent, like a good nerdy Russian accent, is really awesome. And I would have one if my parents had only waited longer to move to America. But unfortunately, they moved when I was 6, and when you move over at that young of an age, you lose your accent. Scenarios loves to show up. Well, I could kill this with my creatures, but let's just go ahead and claw, because, like, that's why I have it, right? Oh my god, it's a counterspell. Alright, well played. I really did not expect that at all, actually. Rather than playing a Spellbreaker for no reason, let's just go ahead and, oh, I can't put it on my Fairy Dragon. Gah. Okay, so we'll put it on the Kodo. Do I attack into that? Nah, let's just be cheeky. This is bad play, but it seems unlikely that she'll be able to kill this and, like, use that to good effect. Mr. Popo says he's 17. Oh, well, then being 17 is why you're single. It's so hard to date when you're, like, that young. You don't have, like, a place to spend the night with the person, all sorts of logistical issues. Yeah, I should have killed that Fairy Dragon, because now I'd have a Fairy Dragon around. I really just did not play around. I did not play around Polymorph at all. That was a mistake. That cost me. So I choose to draw 3 cards rather than play a Spellbreaker for no reason. And, okay, so I'm just passing the turn, essentially. If I lose this game, it's because I played badly. There's no question about that. Yeah, so my family moved to Ohio. That's where we came into America, and yeah, as a result, I got a nice, boring Midwestern accent. I think Cairn is good to silence, and I think I'm actually gonna do this now. Good option now, better than the best option later. Let's just get this guy to be sort of regenerating, and then next turn I can play Cenarius, perhaps. Argent Commander, pretty good card. She chooses not to kill my Spellbreaker. Interesting choice. I don't know. I'm not sure I really agree with that. Okay, I will hold off on Cenarius. Let's actually Starfire that. Get it off the field. Play a Golem. If I hadn't had the Golem, I probably wouldn't have done what I did. But since I do have the Golem, I had a pretty good play to drop down. And so now I've got lots of good options for expensive things to drop. She is going for the face. I think she must have a lot of fireballs or something. Otherwise, she wouldn't be ignoring my minions as steadfastly as she is. That is my sense of the situation in any case. Does she have a secret? Oh, she has a fireball. Yeah, she's trying to burn me out, that's for sure. Well, let's think about the situation. So, Starfall would allow me would kill that, pop Divine Shield, almost kill that. Oh man, this is tricky. Stormwind Chamber doesn't actually seem that worthwhile here. If I do, I'd rather have the taunty guy, but this, I could get 5 health, which is pretty good. Then I can kill this and that. Okay, we're gonna do this for health, because I have plenty of cards. Cards are not the issue. I'm gonna put this down, because honestly, every creature at this point helps me. We'll do that, and we'll do that. And now she could clear my board with a Flame Strike, but then I could repopulate pretty nicely with Cenarius afterwards. Well, she has a Flame Strike. A lot of folks did want a Starfall there. Perhaps that would have been smarter so that I could have cleared things out. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to hit that creature with Shapeshift to finish it off. All right, so Cenarius I want this thing. It does mean that if she's got 2 fireballs up there, she's already flung 1 at my face, but it does mean if she has 2 more, she will win, because that's 12 damage. And maybe I should have Starfalled. Perhaps you guys were right. Luckily, if she doesn't have 2 fireballs, I'm in decent shape, because I can swipe her face, pop the Divine Shield off of this, maybe damage something else, or if she plays a minion with 4 health, I could swipe it. Problem is I cannot swipe and Stormwind Champion unless I top deck Innervate, which is still in here. Actually, if I swipe her face, can I win? What is it? 5, 7, 11? No, I can't win. Does she have a spell to use this spell damage with? She's frostbolting my face and she's fireballing. Oh, I see. Well, I think she's actually going to win this game because I don't have any healing. And so she's just going to be able to fire blast me. Oh, wait, no, what am I talking about? I don't have any healing. I have shapeshift. Oh, my God. Wow, that was almost like the worst towel throw in the history of mankind. All right, so we definitely need to shapeshift. That's mandatory. I would like to preserve the taunt so that I don't lose to charge creatures. I think what I'm going to do is swipe this. Deal 2 damage to that. We're going to swing. I could not have killed her, unfortunately, that turn, because I could have dealt 2 damage to this and an extra 3 with swipe, but there wasn't enough there.
I'm sorry.
Ah, she got another fireball. Wow, she had so many fucking fireballs. Well, I might have been able to play that better. I have to give her credit. She made the correct choice to go for the face. She top decked the fireball, but it's possible that had I played better, I wouldn't have given her the opportunity to top deck that fireball in the first place. Well, so that was a good game. Probably could have played a little bit better. Could have won if she hadn't top decked a fireball. And we're up to 3-1, which is still fine. I just need to get 2 more wins to finish that daily quest, and we'll be pretty happy. Mr. Popa asks, what run number is it? This is actually the 3rd run. We had a Shaman go to 5. Sorry, we had a Warrior go to 5, a Shaman go to 5, and now we have a Druid hoping to go to 5. Up against a Warrior, I think this might be the first Warrior I've seen today. Always nice to see some variety. Going first with an awkward hand, I will of course send back these expensive removal spells, but I'm going to keep the Golem around because I might not get anything better. Ah, Wolf. Okay, that's great. So, this is nice. Always good to have a Golem against a Warrior because that gives you some insurance against Fiery War Axe. Man, I did not play correctly against that Mage. Well, I think it's okay, though. I think we are having fun here talking about various and sundry topics, so that's fine. He's got the coin for some kind of 3-drop. It is. Hopefully something I can kill with Shattered Sun Cleric, and it is. So that's lovely. Finally, Shattered Sun Cleric. I feel like it's been a long time. Maybe I need to reverse my rating on Shattered Sun Cleric. I feel like it's just been so long since I've actually killed anything with it. Now, Cleave will kill both of my minions, and the Acolyte drew a card, so he'd actually be really, really goodly off. Goodly, that's a good word there. He'd be really well off if he had Cleave. Luckily, he doesn't have a Cleave. He has this crap thing, which is just fine by me. I will... Oh, Kodo, coming a turn too early. I'm going to use the Stormwind Knight. Always think about numbers that change. I don't know if I can make that into a proverb, but always think about numbers that change. Like the Stormwind Knight has a base 2 damage, so you think, oh, I can't kill the Tauren Warrior with it, but I have a Wolf on the board. So there are numbers that are changing, so that's why that was definitely like the best way to handle the situation. It let me keep everything I have. Alright, so he's got the 3-3, that means he's going to get to kill my Wolf with the axe, and the Kodo is whiffing like it always does. Luckily, the Shattered Sun Cleric has enough base power to kill that off. Well, interesting. So with Innervate, I could actually Innervate a Stormwind Champion. That's actually, I don't know, I'm going to do that. I mean, I could have waited and, like, try to use Innervate after the Auctioneer, but why do that when I can put a 6/6 in play on turn 5, kill off his minion, and keep all my creatures? That seems awfully sound. Theriu says, well, it's the great thing that distinguishes streaming from regular videos, the viewer interaction. Honestly, if you're a streamer who doesn't interact with the viewers, what the hell are you even doing? I agree. I think I'll take a loss here and there if it means, you know, having a little bit more fun with the folks who actually show up to watch my stuff. Chooses to hold on to the axe, which is totally fair. Do I use the ooze? Well, no, I'm not going to use the ooze, but that's because I want to play the Kodo to kill that thing off. We're going to swing for 10 damage. Wow, this is an epic beatdown here. If my opponent comes back to win this, I will be very impressed. Okay, so it would have been a turn 7 victory there against some opposition too. Woo! Okay, that was a good run to have, or a good game to have after the sort of frustrating loss to the mage. I do think this deck is pretty good now that I've played it for 4 games, because the one loss I might have even been able to win with better play, and the wins were all pretty sound. I love how, as a druid, I almost forgot that I could actually survive against a mage with 1 health. And then, you know, you never know how life is going to turn out, folks. Like, a lot of people would get so upset that the mage top-decked the fireball. But whatever. If she hadn't top-decked that fireball, maybe I wouldn't have gotten to play that warrior and, like, smash the heck out of him. And that would have been, you know, a little bit of fun missing from my life. Mr. Popo says, Papa Boris, more like Papa Beatdown. I'm glad that my love for, like, ridiculous pun phrases has been contagious. That all needs to go. Even the Stormwind Knight, I think we need to get a 3-drop at least. Not a chance. Oh, we got a 2-drop. So my opponent's a rogue. I am second against a rogue, finally, after, like, the 6th time. And I drew a 2-drop, so I'm going to use this coin. So I'm playing the Crocolisk before the Murloc Tidehunter. That way, she doesn't know that the dagger is absolutely what she wants to do here. I mean, if she has nothing to play, then she'll make a dagger anyway. But if she has, like, a choice between the dagger or a card, I want her to have to make that choice. See, now she played the Knife Juggler. And so when I play down my Murloc Tidehunter, she does not have a dagger in hand, so it's harder for her to deal with this. Theriu says, with the tongue face, I mean, there's people who stream just because it's a convenient way to record things, but I think that's the only valid excuse. Touche, sir, touche. I used to do that. Then I learned that OBS has a very nice record to file option, and I don't need to do that anymore. Good times. Chaz asks, Boris, I need some tips on my warrior play. Let me know if you'd be willing to play a game or a few later on. Yes, I would. I cannot play today, unfortunately. I have to run pretty much right after this to go on a date with a girlfriend. But, yes, we should do that at some point. That would be fun. Now, I will give a caveat. Lately, I haven't been doing that well with warrior myself. But, hopefully, if I can help, I would certainly like to. So you might be wondering, Boris, why did you play the Ironfur Grizzly rather than the Yeti? Well, I think there was a reason for that here, because the Grizzly protects the wolf from dying to the Gnomish Inventor. And I don't really want that to happen, because this drew a card coming in. If it kills the wolf, she's really starting to run away with card advantage. So I don't want to do that if I can at all avoid it. At least now, somewhere in her 7 cards, she needs to have an answer for this bear in order to be able to get at my wolf.
So many options.
There he says, the difference between recording to file and streaming then uploading is the upload time. Let me think about that. You know,
It's time for a little blood.
I'd say that is a difference, but for me, personally, the biggest difference is that when you record to a file, it takes up more space on your hard drive, which is what's kind of annoying. I don't really like that aspect of it. But you know, when you do the streaming thing through Twitch, you know, it didn't take up all that space. But yeah, it's just not worth it. It's a lot easier actually to upload from the computer than from Twitch too. Okay, what do I do here? I think the most dangerous creature is this one, so I will kill it. And I am just gonna go ahead and throw the wolf away because it's gonna die now, pretty sure. And next, I could golem and shapeshift to ping this thing once in case it wants to run into the bear. But no, let's just go ahead and play the best creature I have, which is the Yeti. There you notes that recording to local file lets you have higher quality with less frame drops. That is true. It has been a lot smoother. And sometimes Twitch has just like screwed up and messed up my files, which is annoying. Okay, this game's going pretty well. So she's got 6 cards to my 5, soon to be 6. But I am about to kill off this Gnomish Inventor with my Yeti, and the Yeti will be good for some cards. So she's maddeningly swipe proof, which I suspect is not a coincidence. Ooze is really not worth using. Do I want to swipe anyway? I don't really see the point of swiping here. Yeah, swipe just doesn't really work very well right now. Okay, well, let's kill off one of these creatures. So the Mana Addict, if it actually gets buffed, would run into my Yeti. I could play the Ooze and Soul of the Forest. Okay, we'll do this. Let's use Soul of the Forest before it gets to be completely worthless. So we'll just kill off her hardest hitting creature. Oh man, I should have killed the Gnomish Inventor because the Ooze would actually have killed off the 3/3. That was a slight mistake. Now the Gnomish Inventor survives when it shouldn't. Luckily, it will die to a swipe, but it still was a little bit of an imprecise moment. Okay, so she has 7 cards to my 5, soon to be 6, so I'm technically behind a card. As a second player as well, so she's definitely gotten some card advantage here, but part of the reason I'm down a card is because my creatures are going to regenerate as 2/2s. Oh no, she has a Call Master, that's annoying. Will she actually get to get a card off of it though? Yes, by running it into the Yeti. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's unfortunate. She now needs a spell so that this gets buffed and can kill off my tree. Luckily, this guy is a 5/5. I will at 28 health, will definitely get 2 cards from it, which is nice. And she makes a dagger. That's good news. Does she have nothing else to do? She has a Goldshire Footman. Okay, well that's annoying because it's going to draw a card. I might just want to swipe and hold off on the Ancient of Lore to prevent the card draw. Is that worth doing? You know what? Nope. I'm just going to do this, get the cards. I think that's actually worth it. Because it is true now that the Cult Master gets her an extra card, but I got 2 cards right now and a 5/5 on the board. I think that's worth doing. And this guy, remember, is still regenerating. So she has 7 cards to my 7. One of my creatures regenerates, and I've got a really good thing to play here, plus a swipe in case I need it. So yeah, yesterday was a really exciting day for me. That was the day where it was confirmed that I could go part-time at my job at the end of March. So I knew that officially. And that was also the day when I found out that the girl I'm seeing officially wanted to be called my girlfriend. So really exciting Friday yesterday for Papa Boris, and today we're streaming, playing Hearthstone. I mean, life is pretty damn good. Defender of Argus is unfortunate, so that allows the Mana Addicts to kill my tree, and it also means that the Ogre Magi will kill off my Ancient of Lore. She is maddeningly swipe-proof. I think that this is a case where Starfire is worth using to protect my 5/5. And of course draw me a card. I do get to kill off this Mana Addict, and then the Fairy Dragon will die to the Defender of Argus, but that's okay. I'm not really that bothered by it. I like that the Defender of Argus has been nerfed to be a 2/3 that stops it from killing the Ancient of Lore. So she has 6 cards to my 7, and I've still got good things to play here, and my good removal. Chaz says in the chat, good going, Papa Boris. Smiley face, thank you. We'll just have to hope it works out well. It's pretty sweet to think that like a year from now, I might be, you know, making YouTube videos full time. Like that's kind of awesome to think about. All right, so she's going to use the Abusive Sergeant to get the Defender of Argus to trade up, and the Abusive Sergeant, she will hope, will kill the Fairy Dragon. That's a dim hope, of course, because Swipe will kill this off, as can Shapeshift. It just depends on if she gives me a good target for Swipe. Okay, so finally, I actually have something that's worth swiping. Yeah. This is a good time for the swipe. Put that Boris over out here. Cenarius, tempting, but swipe on the Ogre. Does that, and then I can Shapeshift to finish off that. I can finish off the Ogre, and I even have mana left over for a Golem. Life is good. So she has 3 cards to my 5. I'm about to be ahead. I have Cenarius. And I can even play Cenarius for the 2 trees without having to worry about giving it a buff. I like to always try to give the buff if you can, because the buff is so amazing. But I don't even mind making 2 trees, because they can be buffed later by the Stormwind Champion, so that's like pretty sweet. The Grizzly actually makes me want to play the Stormwind Champion first, so the Golem can kill that bear off. I can Innervate now? So I can play Cenarius and then something for 3 mana. Oh, that's not good enough. Yeah, we'll do Stormwind Champion. Let's kill off this bear. And you know what? I am just going to go ahead and innervate out Dragonling. Even though it wastes one of the mana, so the innervate was just a coin. A good option now, better than the best option later. So she's in serious trouble. I have more creatures on the board than she has cards in hand. She has an Assassinate for the Stormwind Champion. That is a start. But Cenarius could actually be used for the buff now. Actually, no, she'll kill the Dragonling. So yeah, the Cenarius for the buff wouldn't be that great. I'd rather get the 2 extra bodies than buff my existing bodies. Unless she plays something that I really want to kill, and then I might use this for the buff. We'll see. Nope, just a Farseer. Well, I would like to kill that, but I think it's fine. I'll just get the trees. Unless I top deck something different. Keeper of the Grove? Yep, we'll just play Cenarius. Alright, I could have killed this thing by cashing out my Golem and using the mechanic. That might have been better. But I figure I don't mind if the Earthen Ring Farseer kills a tree, and then I can shapeshift to finish the Farseer off. And still have 8 mana left over to play both of my 4-drops. Good 4-drops, win games. Okay, I have like double on the board what she has in her hand. That's usually a pretty good place to be. Sunwalker! Well, this thing has a mission. Seen a lot of Sunwalkers today. I don't know what's up with that. Ventrico Mercenary. Okay, so we're gonna silence that, which allows me to shapeshift that. Do I want to kill that thing? Can I kill her? I should always look for... I should have not been looking for the win. What is this? 6, 11, 12, 13. I could have dealt 14. I could have dealt 16 damage to her. I should have looked for the win. Since I didn't do that, we'll just go ahead and kill that Sunwalker off. Play it super safe. The only thing I'm really concerned about is like Blade Flurry, but it's really improbable. She'd need like Blade Flurry and Deadly Poison, and even then Cenarius would end this Guardian Keeper, and then that guy would all survive. And so would the mechanic, and so would the Golem. So yeah, there's actually, she had no outs there. Alright, that was good. That was the 5th win, I believe? Yes, it was. So we'll see now if I can actually make it beyond 5 wins for the first time in today's stream. That would certainly be nice. Chaz asks, is Shapeshift OP? It lets you target creatures so you don't need to spend cards on 1 health guys. That's a good question, and I will give my opinion, but first saying that if someone has the opposite opinion, I would, respect that. It's definitely a question that can be debated. My opinion is that Shapeshift is actually not overpowered, and the reason for that is that it kind of fits into the pattern that Blizzard has established with their hero ability design for the most part. Which is that hero ability provides 2 things. So, like the warrior hero ability, gives 2 armor. The rogue gives 2 uses of a dagger. The paladin gives a 1/1 recruit, which is a total power toughness of 1, etc. So the druid's ability gives them 1 attack and 1 armor, and I feel like that's pretty fair. I feel like it's in line with the rogue's ability, which allows you to carry damage over and store it for later use so that in later turns you can deal damage without having to spend mana. It seems in line to me with the rogue's ability. Now, the ability that I do think is overpowered is Fire Blast, the mage's ability, because that gives you more than 2 things. That gives you damage, that gives you no retaliatory damage from the enemy minion, and it also gives you the ability to bypass taunt. So that's 3 things in one, and I don't think it should be that good, is my opinion. But the other thing you have to consider is that every hero ability resides in the context of the class's other cards. So for example, I'd say the warrior's ability is like the worst in the game technically because it doesn't affect the board at all. And the life gain is irrelevant if your opponent is crushing you. But at the same time, warriors are still good because they have really strong cards. So I could have played Mark of Nature on the Chillwind Yeti, which druids are not that great at dealing with, actually. They don't do a good job dealing tons of damage to a minion. However, I wanted to put an extra minion down because just in case he did have a silence, I didn't want to get totally blown out by it. Chaz says, I think the rogue's ability is worse because it takes up a weapon slot. That's an interesting point. I think the rogue's ability is fine because even though it does take up a weapon slot, The rogues don't actually have that many weapons, if you think about it. I mean, the only weapons they have are the Perdition's Blade and the Assassin's Blade. And yes, if you particularly happen to use the Assassin's Blade, that is your hero ability getting tied down and not being usable for 4 turns. But that's not till like turn 5, so I feel like it's alright that it takes up a weapon slot. I think having a weapon is much better than like not having a weapon slot, if that makes sense. So because I attacked my opponent in the face, the Savage Roar was pretty good. It let the Novice Engineer get a bonus. But this does mean that I have breathing room to play Nourish for 3 cards now. And pass the turn, because none of those cards were Innervate, because I only have 1 Innervate, so there wouldn't have been an Innervate. Yay! That was actually a pretty good Spirit of the Forest. It was kind of moderate, just on 2 creatures, but it worked out pretty well. Starfall, well, that's alright. Unfortunately, I don't have anything good to do now. All this stuff is conditional, and this sucks, and this is... oh, man. Ah, there we go. That's what I needed. This is what I needed. A good 4-drop. Yes. Swipe actually will not clear my board out, even with the help of Shapeshift, which is nice. And my opponent's getting a bit low on life. I've also got butt tons of removal and a buff. This could be used as a 3-mana 4 damage burn thing if I need it to be. I've got 6 power on the board. It's not really close enough to kill him, although I should consider that. Hang on. I've got 6, 11, 13, well, technically 17 damage if I can get all that stuff through. It's not super likely to be able to do that. Alright. Well, let's think. Kodo doesn't work. Starfall doesn't work. Starfall plus Shapeshift works. Starfire doesn't work. I can give this thing a health buff and attack into it. You know what? I think this is pretty reasonable. Let's do that. Shapeshift. And then I can just swing with my team for 6 damage. The nice thing about that is that I used Starfall to kill a minion. And that's nice because Starfall cannot target enemy characters. It only targets minions, but Starfire can, so this is potentially going to be a burn damage threat against my opponent if he's not careful. Well, he's got another Druid of the Claw. Alright. Touche, sir. Touche. Now I have enough mana to Starfire and Shapeshift. Do I want to... well, let's see what a card I draw before I do anything else. If I get Keeper of the Grove, I might just silence this thing and go for the throat. No, but I got Mark of Nature. Oh, yeah, that's right. I do have 2 of these damn things. Ugh. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Let's do this. We're going to do that. And we're going to do that. And we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. So I'm pretty safe against Swipe. I've got an even better board than I used to have, even after getting hit. Actually, after getting hit... yeah, my creature's health stayed the same, essentially, because that thing dealt 4 power, and this is with a buff of 4. Alright, Ogre Magi. Oh my god, does he have a Swipe? That would clear my board. Oh, he's got a Swipe. Well, it doesn't actually clear my board. This thing survives, I guess, but damn it. Alright, can I win now? Let's see. We got 2 plus 5 is 7. Oh my god. 8, 9. I can win. Okay, yeah. Alright, that's good. Just barely enough. Just barely enough to win, and barely enough is good enough. Chaz wrote in the chat, as Papa Boris says, good 4-drops win games. That Dragonling mechanic, I gotta say, that was really good there. I think it was competing with another 4-drop. I can't remember what it was, though. I think it was like a mediocre 4-drop, I believe. So I'm really glad I drafted it, because that thing really helped me a lot. Now, that turn where I dropped the double Mark of Nature, it maybe would have been possible to win, actually, now that I look back. Because I could have used one of them offensively, and then the other one offensively as well. Oh my gosh, I think I could have won the game that turn. Did he have... I forget how much life he had. What is it, 10 life? Because it could have been... what is that? I don't remember. It was a close call. Hard to say. Hard to say. Alright, we're fighting for the money here. Actually drawing a decent opening hand with 2 and a 3-drop. We're going to send back the Ventrico and the Starfire. You don't really want to... I don't really want to play Ventrico Mercenary on turn 5 anyway. Because... you usually want to be able to play other minions after that, rather than just relying on a single 7/6 to win you the game. So, my opponent passes on turn 1, which is good. I'm not going to coin out a Crocolisk, because there's nothing to do next turn if I do. I have a curve, but it's a bit fake. This is not necessarily coming on turn 4, nor is this necessarily coming on turn 5. Power of the Wild, okay. Okay, we'll play a Crocolisk here. Hopefully they trade. Hopefully my opponent does not have a Shattered Sun Cleric. Chaz notes that regarding the last game, I didn't have mana for both of them in Starfall. That's true, and that's why I just wanted to do both of them and not care. But what I wonder is if I could have used one for +4 attack and have one of my 2-power creatures kill the kill the 6 toughness Fen creeper, and then use the other one for attack as well. But I just don't know if I would have had enough damage to quite be able to pull it off. Okay, so here I could coin into a Spellbreaker and silence this golem. But what I think I'd actually rather do is coin into the Keeper of the Grove and just kill that thing. So my opponent tried to be cheeky, he didn't trade the Crocolisk, and I think that he probably regrets that now. I can always silence the golem next turn with the Spellbreaker anyway. But I might not even do that, I might just use the wolf, kill the golem with the help of the wolf, and shapeshift to finish off the damaged golem, but it really all depends on what he plays. So he's got 6 cards to my 7, but I am the second player. I will draw 8, so I went up ahead a card. But mostly it's just the extra card is from being second player. It's anyone's game here. Crazed Alchemist, that was a pretty good play. Allows the golem to kill off my dude. And he's going to Wrath to kill off my Crocolisk to stop it from killing the Crazed Alchemist. Well, that was a pretty good play by my opponent. There's no question about that. So now I could shapeshift to kill off the damaged golem or play this mechanic I just drew. If I play the wolf, it'll trade against the Alchemist, which is a bit sad. Do I want to play this? I'm going to play this. It's a bit risky for sure, but this 2/4 is actually good in the context of the current board state. Plus, this increases the odds that my Kodo will actually have a target next turn. Well, I regret everything. Because, of course, with this Frostwolf Warlord, it'll kill my Kodo. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. Well, I think what we're going to have to do here is make the best of a bad situation. Let's play Spellbreaker, silence that Kodo up, or silence that Frostwolf Warlord up. Problem is the Frostwolf Warlord gets to kill the Dragonlane Mechanic now. And that makes Papa Boris a sad papa. He's got a swipe, actually. Oh, he's going to clear my board with a swipe, so he's going to leave himself with a 4/4. Well, that's fair. I wouldn't hold that against him. I can't play the Kodo. Ah, jeez. I should have cleared his board. This is why. So my opponent made the mistake of not killing my creature, and then I just, like, repaid the favor and made the mistake right back at him. Alright, this is a pretty good top deck here, this Cleric. So what I can do now is buff up my Taunter, and hopefully that'll work. Swipe will clear my board again, but, you know, he's used one swipe. Hopefully he doesn't have any more. I just want him this turn to have a non-interfering hand. As long as he doesn't interfere with me, I have a chance. He has a Starfire. Well, that is not as bad as a swipe, for sure, because it takes up his whole turn. Oh no, do you have a Claw? Oh, no, thank God, that would have been like Shield Bearer! Ah, oh, jeez, who plays Shield Bearer? Well, anyway, Kodo, I guess, is a pretty good use for that Shield Bearer. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of a risk. I'm going to shapeshift and take 3 damage, killing that Frostwolf Warlord up. I think it's worth doing. I do have health back here if I need health. And I might be able to play Wolf and Soul the Forest. We'll see how good his drops are. I don't have any Iron Barks in this deck. He's going to do MVP Nightblade. Oh, God. Okay. He's trying to Zerg me down. Okay. Well, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Do I play the Wolf and the Auctioneer? I can't kill both of his minions, unfortunately. If I play the Auctioneer, it will just die. You know, I'm going to do this, though. I want to have the extra creature on the board to distract my opponent with. So he demonstrated previously by playing Starfire that he didn't have another swipe, so I'm hoping he hasn't top-decked one since then. If that is the case, he has to use the Ooze and Shapeshift to kill off the Auctioneer. If he has a swipe, I do get kind of blown out here, but I can always play a 5/5 and heal up, and that's fine. I would just hope to be able to use this for the cards, if possible, if I can get control. Well, all comes down to how good his hand is. If he has kind of removal here, some kind of removal, he could be in really good shape, like a swipe. But any other kind of removal, I'm not that afraid of. It's just swipe, because that swipe kills the Auctioneer and the Kodo, which is annoying. Ironbark Protector, so he decides to go for it. That means he's not killing my Auctioneer. Okay. Well, here, I could play Soul of the Forest. The problem is it's only 7 damage. I can't quite kill off this Ironbark. I'd have to shapeshift into it, and I don't really want to do that. I could play the Ventrico Mercenary and just let this Ironbark hit me once, but that's a bit scary. Alright, let's play Soul of the Forest. Hopefully I get something good. I didn't. I could play Wild Growth to get a card, but I'm a turn away from being able to actually, like, you know, get 2 cards out of the deal. Okay, we're gonna take a risk. I'm gonna let him hit me. Yeah, I'm gonna let him hit me. He could kill me right now with a swipe or a Starfire.
Give me a quest. Where shall I strike?
Okay, he doesn't have the kill. Although he almost did. If he had hit me, he could have hit me for 13 damage. I wonder if he had the kill with this last card and just missed it. Interesting. He might have had the kill. I don't. You can never tell for certain, of course, but he might have. Okay, so now the question is, do I suicide this Ventrico so I could play my stuff? And the answer is probably not. I'm going to play a Stormwind Champion. Seems really good right here. So what I'm going to do is I kill that thing, I kill that thing, and then I kill that thing. If he couldn't kill me last turn when he could have gotten me down to 1 health, almost certainly with 2 cards he won't kill me this turn. But I have a feeling he messed up and could have beaten me and didn't. Demolisher. Okay, so he's out of steam. That's all he's got. Acidic Swamp Ooze, that's cute. This is kind of a frustrating thing to deal with. I don't really want to lose my Ventrico. But I don't really want to shapeshift and hit it either. Okay, well, let me draw a card. Maybe I'll draw my swipe. Have I already used swipe? I can't remember. But let's see what I get. Stormwind Knight, unfortunately, does not help me. So yeah, we'll suicide my Ventrico. I don't mind using Shapeshift on a Demolisher, just taking 1 point of damage. We'll do that, and we'll do that, and we're gonna swing. So I'm actually pretty safe against Swipe and Starfall, and he only has 1 card, so he cannot kill me from 13 damage. So yeah, this should be good. Loot Hoarder is not helpful. And I think I have, do I have the kill? What is this, 9 plus 7? Yeah, I don't quite have the kill yet, but it's getting close. Nourish, alright, well let's draw these cards off of Nourish. Mark of Nature might actually let me win. Let's take a quick look. This is 9, 13, 16, plus 4 is 20. Actually do have the kill. Always look for the win, kids. Always look for the win. So he was at 21 health there. But I looked for the win and I found it. So there we go. Alright, that was a good game. We're up to the money, which is nice. So I'm 1 arena run away from having a 50% money rate again. After the last 2 runs, it dropped me down. 1 more run would get me back. Chaz says, that's game. It sure is. It's a good game there. I think I just beat 2 druids. Always nice to win the mirror match. And it was a pretty comfortable win. Although at one point he could have actually gotten me down to 1 health. So I guess I got a little bit lucky or played badly or both. Tyrio says, I sure love having a bad PC that crashes every other day or so. I am sorry to hear that. That is frustrating. I think a good computer is well worth the investment. My ex-girlfriend had, like, basically gotten the cheapest computer she could get that, like, still had good reviews. And it just, like, overheats and crashes all the time. So it was like, you know, like a couple $100 extra then could save you a whole lot of hassle now. We're up against a mage, which is annoying because my hand is terrible. And I'm the first player, so I can't even coin out 1 on turn 3. So this could be bad. Could be really bad, especially if she plays a mana worm here. This is really, I'm ill-equipped to deal with a mana worm situation. Luckily, Swipe could maybe catch me up depending on what she plays, but it's not something you can really rely on to bail you out on turn 4 if your start is non-existent. There says, it's definitely not a cheap computer, but the CPU likes to overheat at completely random times. Oh man, that's really sad. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, if it's a good computer that just overheats, then that's pretty sad. If I weren't lazy, Theriu says, I'd open it up and apply a new layer of thermal paste. I think I'm just probably always going to buy laptops from now on, because I just don't have the skill or the technical know-how to deal with computers. Oh, Wild Growth! Wow, that is pretty good, because while I am still at a slow start and by no means out of the woods, I at least can play this Yeti next turn, which is good. Or Swipe, I mean, just kind of depends on what she does here. Now, when you're the first player and you play Wild Growth, you go down a card, so you're like down 2 cards now against your opponent, because you started with 1 less for being the first player, and you go down another one playing the Wild Growth, but if you actually like can get away with it and not lose, then it's really friggin' terrifying because you're like 2 mana ahead all the time. Like I'm gonna be responding to her 2 mana play with a 4 mana play. Like if she just Fire Blasts here, then she's in actually really big trouble. So my opponent took a long time last turn to play a Mana Worm, then said sorry. Seems like she's having some kind of issues at home. Swipe. That doesn't really work just yet, unfortunately. Alright, we're gonna play... Whoa. Not the Yeti. Definitely want to play the Stormwind Knight here. Kill that thing off for sure. Chaz and Theory are sharing horror stories in the chat about thermal paste and wires. This is exactly why I get laptops. Just buy one, never have to open it, never have to deal with it. In fact, you can't open it or deal with it. You just gotta use it until it breaks, then you get another one. I wonder when I got this laptop. It was like when Skyrim was a pretty new game. I got this so I could play Skyrim. I forget, though, how long ago that was. Okay. Well, I could shapeshift to kill that, but that would be kind of pointless because I can't do anything else. Let's just use the Kodo here. It uses up all of my mana. Yeah, it's not the most impressive thing killing that mana worm, but at least it gets some use out of it. And it's card advantage, and I now have more mana to use next turn. She's got the coin, and she's going to play what exactly? Spiteful Smith, that's frustrating. I don't have a good way of addressing that, Spiteful Smith. Swipe doesn't do it. Starfire, I don't have enough mana to then shapeshift. Oh, that's so annoying. Wow, Spiteful Smith, 4/6s are just really damn good sometimes, I guess. Alright, we're gonna Starfire this thing. Get a card. Scenarios, that'll be good later. And I will... Ah, man, I'm gonna hit her in the face. The reason for this is that if she chooses to kill the Kodo by some other means, this will die later to a Swipe. And that's a little bit risky, but I'm willing to take that chance. So I got to steal 3 extra damage on her, that's fine. And she plays Raging Worgen. Okay. That's really not the scariest thing that could have happened. Alright, so now I can actually play this and the Ooze, but this is risky, it'll die to the Worgen, so let's actually play the Yeti and the Ooze instead. Although it doesn't use up all of my mana, it actually gives me the opportunity later to get a card off this Auctioneer. I can't do it next turn because these are 4 mana spells, so this plus one of these will be 9 mana. I only have 8, but perhaps later on I will have that opportunity. Or if I get like a Claw or Innervate or something, then I can use it next turn. Alright, well, we'll see what she does. This turn might actually be kind of awkward. If both my creatures survive, I will definitely play Soul of the Forest. I think that it's worth doing it for 2 creatures. Looks like she has removal, though, for that Yeti. Frostbolt, huh? That's not exactly the right removal. She's going to Enrage her Worgen. I don't know if I agree with that move. I really don't know if I agree with that move. I generally don't like to just do that unless you're pretty sure you're going to kill your opponent. Well, alright then. So, swipe will let me clear out her board, but then I cannot play Soul of the Forest. I can play Soul of the Forest and kill the Worgen, but then this will survive. I think it's more important to clear her board than it is to get the Soul of the Forest down. So I will act accordingly. That Frostbolt, I guess, was just a tech play to freeze my Yeti and stop it from attacking. But now I can play Auctioneer and Soul of the Forest, or Cenarius. Man, if I get Cenarius and get the 2/2 trees and then I play Soul of the Forest, that will just be ball breaking. Let's see what she's got for me. That's not impressive. And that's not impressive either. Oh man, this is pretty good. This is looking really, really good now. Let's actually think about my life here very carefully. Chaz says that he uses a laptop for work as a high school math teacher, and he couldn't imagine using a laptop for gaming. You know, it's one of those things that I never thought I would do, but like actually it's totally fine. As long as you get like you know, an expensive one with a big screen, it's totally okay for gaming purposes. So do I play Cenarius here for the trees? Let's do something a little bit different. I'm going to play the Auctioneer. I'm going to use Soul of the Forest, get a card. And then I'm going to clear out her board. Doesn't actually matter how I do it. So the thing is, now she can play Flame Strike to clear out my board. The trees will die, but the Auctioneer is actually still recharged. And then I can, on a pretty clear conscious, play Cenarius next turn. Wow, that was really fast out of the hand. Is that a Flame Strike? No, it's a Blizzard. And actually, this is one of the few times I'm happier to see a Blizzard than a Flame Strike, because it actually means that the Auctioneer survives. And that's more of what I care about now, him surviving, than actually, like so I can get a card if I get a spell or something. Wow, Mark of Nature. Okay, we'll do this. Let's give him +4 health and taunt and draw a card. Stormwind Champion. Wow. Alright, I cannot play the Venture Coat and the Shattered Sun Cleric. I will play a Stormwind Champion here. Seems pretty good. So my health total is just high enough that I really shouldn't be able to be burned out by my opponent. I've got a Taunter. She's Polymorph. Lame! Oh, I really should have thought about Polymorph. And she has another Polymorph. Alright, that deserves a well played. Okay, so I could play Cenarius and buff up my sheep. But that seems really silly. Why don't I just make 2 trees? And, man, can you guys remember when Cenarius used to cost 8 mana? That was crazy. So Chaz explains why he doesn't want to game on a laptop. He says, yeah, I feel like you're automatically giving up performance without gaining money. That's true. You're definitely not getting as good performance, and you're paying a lot for like it being a laptop. So it's definitely true. I just like the fact that like I can like game on it well enough, and if I need to, I can take it with me somewhere. Like I've definitely used that aspect of it before, being able to take it places. Starfall cannot target the opponent, but I do have a lot of damage here. This is 7, 9, 10, 11. Oh, she's at 24. Okay, yeah. So I do need to kill off this Raging Worgen, I believe. Okay, we'll do it like this. Going to buff one of my trees to kill the Worgen off. I'll use Shapeshift and Sheep to kill the wolf off. And at the end of all that, I'll play Avengeful Mercenary. And now I believe I'm threatening lethal. This is 12 plus 5 is 17, 18. Yeah, I'm threatening lethal now. I have a Spellbreaker in case she taunts, so she has to have removal or life gain. And I have more cards in my hand than she does and more cards on the board than she has cards in her hand, so she's in pretty bad trouble. We survived a Blizzard and 2 Polymorphs this game, but now it looks like we're going to win. Unless she has some crazy thing coming up. Okay, she's pointing stuff at my face, perhaps a Pyroblast. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Come on, mage. You're gonna lose. You don't need to think about this. Alright, well. Whatever. She can do what she wants. Arcane Missiles is what she decides on. And alright. So she's gonna get to kill off the Shattered Sun Cleric. That does mean that I can't kill her because I've got 12, 14 damage? 15. I can't target her with Starfall. Well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to play Nourish for 3 cards. There are some cards I believe I could draw that would let me get that final point of damage through. I did not, however, draw any of those. Okay, well, what we'll do then is we'll just play this, I guess, and swing for tons of damage. So I'm really threatening the kill next turn. She really can't kill me. 16 damage is too much for 2 cards to deal with. If she clears my board, well, she can't because this is 8 health. She'd have to freeze my board. She did have the Pyroblast. Nice. So good thing I stayed afloat. 6 health was my margin of error there. Alright, we're up to 8 wins. That's pretty sweet. Chaz says it's not like people pay attention in class. He says this as a high school math teacher. And then Therio says, I don't know, mathematics is one of the few important subjects in high school. I agree. I think math is like the closest that we come to teaching people logic. And that's actually the thing that I really wish we taught in school is logic. I feel like people just don't know how to think critically, or like really like basic reasoning concepts are just strange to people. And in math, you kind of teach it indirectly, but there are these other elements in math that you don't get when you teach pure logic. I think people need to know that. It's like, even people who suck at math, you know, they like a lot of people who suck at math still like have these like random like bits of math knowledge in their head. Like they still know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and like people still know SOHCAHTOA, and like some people still like even remember 30, 60, 90 triangles. But I think people should know stuff like, you know, if a implies b, then not b implies not a. That should be like a piece of knowledge that just everybody has because they went through school and because it was drilled into them. Everybody should know that, you know, a necessary condition and a sufficient condition are different things. That, like, they should know what those are. They should be able to explain why they're different. I feel like the fact that people can't do that is really kind of distressing and scary. Alright, so I kept my 2 4-drops because I am the second player, which means I can coin out one on turn 3 and play the other on turn 4. And they are so strong that I'm just willing to gamble that my opponent will have a slow start and not test me. And so far, so good. He passed on turn 1. I'm hoping he passes on turn 2. As long as that happens, we'll be in really good shape. Okay, so we both are having like a little gentleman's agreement here to just not do anything. I would, of course, like to violate that gentleman's agreement by playing a 2-drop here. Sadly, I didn't get one. And the Shattered Sun Cleric is by no means worth coining out. Then I'd have nothing to do next turn. I'd rather save the coin for the Yeti the following turn. Or perhaps we'll play something that the Keeper could actually kill. Nope, he plays a Raging Worgen, which is totally fine. The Yeti is well equipped to kill that. Now, I could, of course, Claw Shapeshift and kill the Worgen that way, but I'd rather actually get the Yeti out. Really, the only thing I'm risking here is a Dark Iron Dwarf, and I'm willing to take that chance. Mad Bomber. Well, the Bomber didn't quite work. It would have needed to either hit the Yeti and the Worgen or to have hit the Yeti twice. Right now, the Worgen didn't get enraged, so the Yeti still survives a hit from it. But he still has 2 mana to work with. The Northshire Cleric doesn't really do anything. Okay, that's great. So, let's think for a moment here. Let's just keep it simple. I'm going to just Keeper of the Grove to kill the Mad Bomber. And I'm going to kill the Worgen, because it is the bigger threat. This thing can attack into my Keeper, and he can heal it and draw a card. I would love it if he did that. I would love it if he spent 40% of his mana accomplishing nothing but drawing a card. As I'm almost basically baiting him to do that.
For the crusade!
Scarlet Crusader. My opponent takes the bait, which is just fine by me. And I can Innervate, which I actually might use here. I think I will actually use that Innervate. So what I'm going to do is... Well, let's put this back for just a second. I want to swipe. I definitely want to use swipe here. Okay, I think I'm going to swipe the face. Play Innervate, play Shattered Sun Cleric. buff up the Yeti so that I can kill the Northshire Cleric and live to tell about it, and I will throw away the Keeper of the Grove. Okay, I'm not 100% certain that was the best play, but it did clear out his board while developing mine. And now I'm in a pretty good position to play Soul of the Forester, or the Ventricle Mercenary, or even a Starfire, depending on the situation. Like, if you were to play a Lightspawn or something, I would totally Starfire it, get some card advantage, and swing for 8. You know, maybe I should have swiped the Northshire Cleric. That would have allowed me to preserve some damage on my minions. That wasn't worth dealing extra damage to his face, I think. Yeah, that was my mistake. I could have actually kept my Keeper of the Grove around that way. With 1 health. And the Yeti would have still been a 4-1. Okay, yeah, I threw away a creature to deal 3 extra damage to his face. That was definitely not worth it, so I should have swiped the Northshire Cleric. It felt wrong, swiping a 1-mana minion, but that's one thing I love about Hearthstone. Sometimes the correct play doesn't feel right. So Reckless Rocketeer to kill that Yeti is great in my books. That's totally fine. We'll play the Ventrico now. It does die to Shadow Word Death and Big Game Hunter. Don't mind the Shadow Word Death too much, but the Big Game Hunter would be kind of annoying. Wow, Chillwind Yeti is not the most impressive thing right here. Nor is that Golem. Cool. So I've got a couple of options here. One is I could Starfire the Yeti and just kill the Golem off. Another option is I could play Spellbreaker to silence my Ventrico, then use the Shattered Sun Cleric to kill the Ghoul and the Ventrico to kill the Yeti. Problem is if the Ventrico ends up dying, I don't get much benefit out of that silence. So let's just go ahead and Starfire then. Note that it doesn't matter that I did this first, because the Cleric is what I was going to use to kill the Ghoul anyway, and the Cleric died either way. Now I could have used the Ventricle Mercenary to kill the Ghoul and preserve the Cleric, but I like dealing damage here, because there's a lot of damage to be dealt.
I've got the beast.
He actually has a Big Game Hunter. Wow. Alright. That's a well played. And he has his own Ventricle Mercenary. Oh my gosh. Wow, that turned around on a dime. I could actually be in a lot of trouble with that Ventricle Mercenary. Alright. We're going to do this.
For the king!
And I will Claw to kill off the Hunter. I will play the Wolf. And we're going to start getting damage through. I think I need to start doing that. Otherwise I might run into trouble. I do still have Cenarius in here, as well as a Stormwind Champion. Those could definitely help, but the 7/6 might just go all the way to the distance. The nice thing is his minions are expensive, so it's hard for him to develop the board, but with 9 mana, he could still play more cheap minions. So, yeah, I think I made some mistakes. I threw away some creatures to deal more damage, and it wasn't good. I should have kept more creatures around on the board, then I might have a better chance here. That Big Game Hunter plus the Ventrico is what really sealed the deal here, with him actually getting back to the game. Also, I'm holding on to some pretty awful cards, which is another problem. Booty Bay Bodyguard. Alright, drops that down to protect the Ventrico. Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to actually silence this thing. I'm going to put Soul of the Forest on my guys. I'm going to swing for 2. I'm just getting damage through and trying to maintain board presence. He could now suicide this against my Spellbreaker if he wished. And that would allow him to play minions again. I've got plenty of health, so I'm not in danger of getting burned out, that's for sure. I'd love to see the Gadgetzan Auctioneer. That would let me get 3 cards off of Wild Growth. I do have a very dangerous card in here. No, I've already used Innervate, so Innervate's gone. Innervate would be a bad top deck. Defender of Argus. No, he is committed to clearing out my board here, which is actually totally fine, because neither of his creatures dies. He is playing the control game here. He's going to heal that up to make it harder for me to kill it off with Shapeshift, which is a fair move. River Chronicleisk is not what I needed to see, so let's draw a card before we do anything else. Oh man, I think I could have won this game if I had kept my minions around more. Okay, so the Ancient of Lore is nice. I will... No, no! Oh my god, thank god that doesn't activate automatically, because that was the wrong thing. I need to get cards here, not health. Okay, we'll just throw away these trees to kill that thing. Keeping his minions more expensive. If he wants to make his minions cheap, then he can use it to kill my Ancient of Lore. That's fine, but if he does that, I'm okay with it. I have a lot of kind of chumpy crap here, so if he keeps actually playing big threats, I'm going to be in trouble. But if he has like just crap for a few turns, then I might be able to catch up if I just flood the board with junk. And if he floods the board with junk, but I get like Cenarius or Stormwind Champion, I might be able to catch back up. Shadowstone Cleric, that's a good start. I don't really care that much about him buffing that to 3-4. I don't care about them having Taunt either, so this is pretty good. The one problem is Starfall doesn't really kill him, or kill any of his minions. But I'm okay with that. That's really exactly what I needed to have happen. Oh, of course, Gadget and Auctioneer now comes along. Alright, we're going to do Yeti, this thing, and we're just flooding the board with the junk. Biding time until we can get our actual minions. Our actual big minions. Therio says it makes sense that that the heal didn't activate automatically. Yeah, of course. That I'm not saying it should activate automatically. I'm just saying, like, thank God that wrong option is a thing that requires a choice rather than, like, something that... Oh, he's got a Holy Nova. That's annoying. Luckily for me, I have a Starfall with a Gadget and Auctioneer, so that'll kind of make up for the Holy... Oh, no! No, it doesn't work. Holy Nova will heal his guys, so then Starfall doesn't kill them again. Oh, no! That heal on the Holy Nova is epic. To an absurd degree. Shit, I cannot play this thing. Fucking priests. Well, I'm just gonna do that. Shapeshift to finish off the defender and play a golem. But man, Holy Nova with the heal is maddeningly frustrating because if I could have killed those two with Starfall, I could have played the Auctioneer and gotten a card off of it. Crap. Well, I might just lose now because he's hitting me for 7 damage a turn that I can't actually immediately deal with. Oh, man. Oh, man. I misplayed this. I lost this game. So hopefully that was educational for you guys. It just this game shows the importance of preserving your minions when you have like different options of how to trade stuff away. I just carelessly threw away a couple of minions, and that really screwed me over. So he's going to silence my golem, which is a fair move. He realizes that he has the driver's seat here. You know what I would need in order to win this game? I would need another swipe, and I don't actually have another one. I only have the one, so this is pretty much over. Crap. That was a sad game. I was in control there, and I had the win. It just played it wrong. Okay, so we'll stay in it for the time being. I have to play the Auctioneer now. I can't hold off anymore. I just drop it down. I could theoretically still win if I get Cenarius. That just puts so much presence on the board, but it's a tight call here. Also, if he clears out my board and I draw Mark of Nature, I'm really screwed. That's like a dead top deck. And I won't have any minions to put it on either. Oh, man. It's too bad. It's too bad to lose a game to your own mistakes, but it's also good because it encourages you. It tells you that if you play better, you'll win more games. It's not just a matter of luck. So it goes both ways, making mistakes. And if I am going to make mistakes, at least I'm making them when I've already got 8 wins, and I know that I'm making money from this arena, which is nice. So the obvious move would be to heal this, kill the Auctioneer with it, use the Spellbreaker to kill the Tidehunter. I don't know why he was thinking about that so much, but that is what he ends up doing. Oh, man. Okay. So we got a Stormwind Champion here. That's cool. So we'll do this. That. Shapeshift. Problem is he's got 3 cards, and he has lots of answers to this. Holy Fire would let him kill it. Mind Control would let him steal it. Shadow Word Death would let him kill it. 3 cards, pretty good odds he can answer this thing. I need Cenarius. He has Mind Control. That is really the worst one of those many things that he had that it could have let him win. I draw Mark of Nature. Let's give him that and concede. Wow, that was too bad. Almost certain I would have won that game if I had swiped Northshire Cleric, keeping an extra minion on the board, and then another time I could also have kept an extra minion on the board. Too bad. Too bad. Well, let's go to the next game. And, well, try to learn from our mistakes. And play better in the future. So, arena life is on the line. I don't think I've ever gotten to 12 wins as Druid, so that'd be my objective. But that's going to be a tall order here, winning 4 games without losing a single one. Mage again, and kind of a crappy opening hand again. Ah, there, never mind, this is fine. So, we'll actually keep this curve, 2, 3, 4. Bit risky, for sure. But, again, I'm gambling the Mage will have a slow start, so I can play this on turn 2, buff it on turn 3, and then play the Yeti on turn 4. Or I play this on turn 2 and it dies, but then I coin out the Yeti on turn 3. And then play the Mark of Nature on turn 4. Alright, well none of that's happening. So what I think I'm going to do is I will actually use the coin here. And just shapeshift and kill the leper gnome. So it's an interesting question whether that is, you know, objectively good or not to do. I think it is. I think using a coin to kill a minion is totally fine. Because that's essentially what you're doing, is you're using a coin and trading some life to kill a minion. That's worth it. Now, if she fire blasts here, I'm going to maybe regret that, but still, the Leper Gnome's gone. I can play a 2-drop in peace. And that's pretty good. Sunfury Protector, okay. That's fine. Ah, Wild Growth. Oh, man, that's interesting. Okay, we're going to do it. Risky move. This is very, very risky, because if she keeps up the pressure, and I play the Yeti, it won't be enough. But the Yeti is really, really good against this thing. Alright, this is perfect. So she's drawing cards, so she's not developing her board. I don't really care about that. I already got a card up by killing that Leper Gnome. Now I can play the Yeti, and my little gamble here pays off. She could Fireball or Polymorph this, but then she's using up her entire turn to do so, and then I just drop the Ventrico after that, so like it's fine if she kills this. I'd rather she didn't, of course. I'd rather this be worth 2 cards than 1. But I think it's a worthy risk. Alright, she's going to play a Sorcerer Apprentice. Does she have anything? She She doesn't. She has another Arcane Intellect. So she's going up cards through the Arcane Intellects, but she's going down cards through me killing her shit. Okay, we're going to kill this. You know what? Let's drop this thing. Seems fine. She uses the Fireball now. Interesting. I don't know if that was probably gotten from one of those Arcane Intellects, I guess. She flips a coin. Can I win a coin flip or what? No! Jesus! I cannot win a coin flip to save my goddamn life. Honest to God, Jesus. Alright, we'll do this. It's a bit risky here, but I'm gonna take that risk. God fucking... I always lose those Arcade Missile coin flips. Every damn time. Kodo, are you... Alright, well, this game is just not destined to be mine, I guess. Wow, that was lovely. Swipe does not clear the board. Let's Starfire to kill that. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, I took the risk knowingly making the 2 eggs in 1 basket thing. But, god damn it, that sucked. Raid Leader? Okay, so Swipe will clear out her board at least. That's nice. Hopefully she doesn't have anything good. Swipe that. Shapeshift, kill that. Play the Tidehunter here. Okay, well, 13 health is really not where I want to be against a mage. Because, I mean, she could almost win right now with a pair of fireballs. But, man. Honestly. Okay, once again, I'm in a position where I don't have any of my endgame. That's kind of annoying. She has a fireball, so she is going for the kill. Okay. Stampeding Kodo. Well, my Kodo's not nearly as impressive as hers, that's for sure. So I need to shapeshift every turn now. I'm gonna play the Golem. I could play Soul of the Forest. Or I could play Spellbreaker to have an extra minion on the field. You know what? I think we need to put this down. I'm gonna silence the 1/1, where it doesn't matter. Pass the turn. Could have clawed for some extra health, but whatever. If she has a fireball and a frostbolt, then so be it. She's already launched 2 fireballs at my face, so hopefully she's getting a little bit low. This is like a heal 2 that I could use. And an Ancient of Lore could heal me for 5. That's pretty much all I've got left. She's got the Frostbolt for my Golem, which, well, that's kind of good because it at least means that she didn't kill me with the Frostbolt. And she's going to Cone of Cold. Oh, that's annoying. I couldn't put the Soul of the Forest down in time. Damn it. Alright, well, the good news is she didn't kill me. So that's, you know, got to look for the little victories there. Let's go ahead and... I cannot play all of these. Okay, we'll do Shattered Sun Cleric to protect that guy. Okay, I'm going to play a Kodo and Shapeshift. So the idea here is that I'm putting as much on the board as I possibly can. If she has a Flame Strike, she wins, but, you know, so be it. Can't play around everything when you're this far behind. Water Elemental, so there's no Flame Strike, that's good. Frost Nova, don't really care about that much. It is kind of unfortunate that I can't get rid of this Water Elemental right now. I don't have removal for it and my creatures are frozen. But, you know, it could be worse. So we'll do this. Whoa. We'll do this. This. Claw for some health. And swing in her face. So I'm at 12 health, down to 9 after the elemental hits me. I might actually be able to survive this. Hard to say, though. Hard to say. I mean, there are definitely worse things for me that you could have played than the Water Elemental. Although this card is, of course, overpowered as all hell, there still could have been worse things. What's nice is that I actually have 5 armor, so I won't get frozen. Remember this, folks? If a creature has the freeze ability upon damage, like the Water Elemental, it actually needs to damage, and armor doesn't count as damage. Armor is just armor. I might actually win this. I mean, she has 4 cards, which is terrifying. Because it's her turn, she has as many cards as I have minions. But, you know, I might actually still be able to pull this off, depending on what those cards are. Okay, she's going to ping off the Spellbreaker. Good that she's not hitting my face. That means she's not beating me this turn. So that's nice. She has a Cult Master, which is... I couldn't care less about the Cult Master. Kill that Fairy Dragon. Really couldn't care less about that. Frostbolt, don't care. Oh, man, I might actually be able to win this. Because she just had a bunch of, like, cheap removal and dumb creatures that didn't matter. That is perfect. Okay. So first, we kill the Cult Master. Then we kill the Elemental. And then we ask ourselves, do I play this Ooze out and die to a Flame Strike? The answer is yes. I think I am more likely to lose because I kept this in my hand than I am to lose because she plays a Flame Strike here, or a Blizzard. And if she doesn't have a Flame Strike, I might actually win. I mean, that's 18 to 13. So I'm actually doing alright. Acolyte of Pain doesn't matter. Is she going to ping it to draw a card? She has a Flame Strike. Alright. Well, that's life, I guess. At least I got 1 tree back. And Stormwind Champion's a pretty good top deck that lets me kill off the Acolyte. Shapeshift. I'm still gaining life, by the way. 1 health a turn. So she's got 3 cards. One of them needs to be able to address the Stormwind Champion, either by being a big minion itself or by killing it. If she doesn't have the ability to deal with it, and I top deck 1 more good card, I'm actually back in this game for sure. Kirin Mage doesn't really matter. Cone of Cold. Well, I guess it could be worse if I'm being totally honest. It could be worse. Like this thing could be dead rather than frozen. So, okay, so she can ping off my tree if she wants. Unillogical says, hello, all, I'm back. Welcome back, Uni, or Unillogical. How is he doing, he asks. Well, I had a 5-win Warrior run, a 5-win Shaman run, and now I'm at 8-2 with this Druid run. So that is the synopsis. Yeti's pretty good. I would have rather had a Cenarius. Hello, Cenarius, anytime you want to. But this is still alright. The thing that concerns me is that she's got these 2 cards, but my creatures are better than hers, and 15 health is pretty solid. Dark Iron Dwarf lets her kill my Stormwind Champion. Oh no, she's going for the kill. Does she actually have a Fireball? Yeah, it doesn't actually kill me. Why did she hit me and not... I don't understand why she did that. I think that might have been a mistake. Well, that's fine. So we'll do this. Can I win? Oh my god, check for the win. 11... Oh my god, 11, 14, 15. Okay, so I can't kill her. That means I have to really kill her stuff, since she signaled that she had some kind of burn that she was holding on to, like maybe like a pyroblast. Oh my god, if that's a pyroblast, I'm gonna be annoyed. It's a pyroblast. Fuck my life. That was, well, okay. So I think that that game was just dumb, but the game before it I definitely could have won, and I think there was a game earlier where I could have potentially played better as well. So, Chaz says I clawed my way back into that game, but a pyroblast finished me off at exactly 10 health. That's really annoying. Man. Well, 8-2, can't complain too much about that, folks, right? We get a shitty reward, as to be expected. Cool 150 gold on the nose. But at least I get like 100 dust from that SI agent, and then I got a file of dust as well. I feel like I get nothing but, oh my god, a legendary! Oh no, it's Deathwing! I already have a Deathwing. Ah, that's too bad. Too bad. Too bad. As good as it is to have a, wait, why don't I have a Deathwing? Wait a minute. I definitely have Deathwing. What is going on here? Okay. Wait, it's a golden Deathwing. Oh my gosh, I totally missed the fact that it was golden. Wow, that's hilarious. All right, folks. I know some of you are about to cry. Okay, if you are squeamish, or if any small children are watching this, close their eyes and close your own eyes. I'm about to disenchant a golden Deathwing. I know some of you are like, no, how can you disenchant it? But it's any legendary I want, essentially. And I want a non-golden other legendary much more than I want a golden frickin' Deathwing. Well, that was cool. Okay, so I apologize for my, like, groan of dismay. That was a golden legendary. That's my first time ever getting one. And actually, just a fun fact, pretty much, well, would I have disenchanted it if it was a new one? I guess I would have kept it around if it were a new one, but, anyway, next run is gonna be Warlock, Shaman, or Rogue, and unfortunately I don't have enough time to do a run if this goes long, so I'm afraid today will be a short day. We had 3 solid runs, Warrior 5, Shaman 5, and Druid 8. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be around in the chat for a little bit if anybody wants to chat with me about things, but other than that, thanks again for watching on YouTube. Please like and or subscribe, and in the stream, stick around for the chat. I'll see you guys soon.